All right, this is just capturing the sex offense. This is the impossible light activity that appears in the specific, this is creating the specific environment inside of your private residence, inside of the private space. And this is with regard to real-time knowledge of where you're located and what you're doing. So I'm under surveillance while I'm physically nude, physically indisposed, in the shower, walking around my apartment, getting ready for work. The entity is literally stalking inside of my apartment with engineered light. This is what you saw yesterday. It's appearing on the ceiling, the pattern of the blinds while the light source is outside of the living room window. It's appearing the pattern of the blinds while the light source is outside of this window. It has nothing to do with the sun, in the same way that that engineered light in the living room is not sunlight, and that's not even the sun. It's the demonic imitation of the natural environment for purposes of surrounding you with engineered light. And that's what this is. And I want to make sure that I document specifically the sex offense, the entity keeping me under surveillance and literally stalking inside of my private space with engineered light, with real-time knowledge of the fact that you're physically indisposed. This is a terrorizing and sexually motivated aspect of the state's pattern of conduct. And all of the people of the state, these are demons that are obsessively pursuing you and keeping you under surveillance. And at this point where you're documenting it, they are specifically communicating that sexual intent to do so because they know that you're aware of it. All right. This is an exceedingly violent sex offense perpetrated by the people of the state, and they do it in concert with children. Remember the group stalkers that are under the age of majority that are here engaging in the elements of monitoring in concert with their demon-possessed parents, third-party group stalkers who are going to federal prison for this documentation of what is the terrorism via directed light. And this is also the sexually motivated aspect, keeping you under surveillance, placing this engineered light, which appears and disappears depending upon what you're doing. As you document it, depending on who else you're documenting, the entity engages in this conduct. When you tend to be documenting third parties, which it is impossible to, you're not protecting anyone, and the entity cannot protect anyone. This is exposing everyone as they continuously engage in it. And this is the sex offense, okay? And under no circumstances ever is any sunlight reaching like horizontally on the walls and on the ceiling in every direction. And as I move around, you're looking at what is the creation of light activity. This is demonic. All right, this is for the ongoing obsessive endeavor to stalk you, keep you with the engineered light all around you, to touch you, including on your physically indisposed person, which they all know that. They're listening to everything. They're monitoring you on the internet. They're keeping a hovering presence around you everywhere that you're located inside of the private space. And they're doing that in the workplace as well. This is where the entity supposedly has the illusion of what is the sun and sunlight. This isn't even sunlight. And moreover, the entity is maintaining a light source while I am during the 9 o'clock hour. I'm getting on Route 61, third-party group stalker, going eastbound to Fontana, and the light source is directly over my head, which you will see in that evidence document on April 29, 2022. I'm at the Fontana Metro train station, walking to the Fontana Lewis Library, where the light source is over my head. Engineer light is all inside of that Fontana Lewis Library. The two are not happening at the same time, ever. And you're looking at what's the light source out here, while the ongoing explanation of what is demonic, and it's also sexually motivated. The entity does this with regard to my being physically indisposed, engaging in what is private activities such as taking my clothes off, taking a shower. You're necessarily touching on your person. The entity is engaging in the sexually motivated criminal pattern of conduct while all of an entity is keeping you under surveillance while that is underway. It's not just that level of invasion of privacy corporately. It's also on the venue of the internet, all of your bank accounts, all of your credit cards, any and all of your personal information with regard that you're exchanging with these companies when you're making any purchases, any and everything that you're buying. And then those third parties that come and even deliver it, they're engaged in the pattern of conduct. It is comprehensive surveillance, and it's also a sex offense committed by the state. This is documenting that engineer light inside of my bedroom has nothing to do with the sun. All right, there's no sunlight that's bouncing over the top of my apartment to get to my bedroom window on the other side, coming through the blinds and then appearing on the walls. That's impossible, okay? Not just impossible, you're not even going to entertain that. In the same way that this is impossible light activity, because you're understanding the entity was surrounding me with a light source on this same day, at the same time, in an entirely different region, which is not any sun over the hillside. All right, and then you're looking at vivid illustrations of that when you're looking at what is engineered light on the bedroom walls while this entity is keeping me under surveillance while I'm physically indisposed. Okay, so this is the sex offense, and you're understanding how that sex offense is going to be prosecuted. This is engineered light here, and this is engineered light up here as well. Impossible light activity, okay? This is the P.O.C. This is for purposes of an ongoing obsessive endeavor, and the demon possessed or engaged in this obsessive endeavor. All right, the minor children that have been made sex offenders by virtue of engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring during what is legally relevant conduct, behavior by the target individual. Understand that. That's why they're all going to be removed. The entity that's engaging in making minor children terrorists and stalkers by virtue of living on the grounds of the property and acting with the state, that is LAPD, that's engaging in surveillance by helicopters in the airspace and airplanes and all around in relevant position on the grounds. And it's also occurring in the workplace, which minor children are going to be a part of that prosecution as well, because the people of the state are engaging in that ceaseless system in the workplace, which is what I'm documenting here. It is currently 8:07 a.m. This is the light source outside of my living room window, and this is P.O.C.